Welcome to another training video by H-Impact. This is Travis L. Holt, Senior Software Engineer here at H-Impact. This video will cover how to create the city list and city chart components and register our data service with its CRUD methods as part of .NET Core's dependency injection container. We will begin by creating our custom grid that will display our SQL data. Along with C#, we will use Razor Code, HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap. By the end of this video, we will have a responsive grid that will be used to list the cities from our database. We are using Microsoft Visual Studio 2019 and Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio 2019 with a SQL Server Express installation. All software is free and is available on Microsoft's website for download. I have included the links in the description below. Also, if you missed the previous BlazorChartJS video, which covered how to create a data service that contains both synchronous and asynchronous CRUD methods to manage the data in our ChartStats database, I've left the link in the description as well as the project source code. If you are new to our channel and enjoy the content, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification button to be alerted when we release our next video. Let's get started. First, we need to register the city service with .NET Core's dependency injection container. By doing so, we can make sure the city service class with its CRUD operations is accessible throughout the entire application as long as there is a city service reference. From your Solution Explorer, scroll till you find the startup.cs class. Double-click the startup.cs class. Nice, the startup.cs class is now active. Under the Configure Services method in the startup.cs class, we need to register the city service class as part of .NET Core's dependency injection container. Now, let's scroll down to the Configure Services method. We can register a service as one of three types. 1. Transient. 2. Scoped. 3. Singleton. To ensure we get the most up-to-date data for every request, let's register our service as transient. Within the Configure Services method, below the last services line, type services dot add transient angle brackets city service parentheses. Now, save the startup.cs class. Control S. Nice. Now let's add the main Razor component for this application. This component will contain a grid that will allow the user the ability to list, edit, and update the city records in our database. To do this, right-click the Pages folder. Choose Add, Razor Component, name the component city_chart. Click Add. Great. Our city chart component was added successfully. Now let's update the H3 tag as a visual cue when we load the city chart component. Change the H3 tag to an H1 tag. And type hello world from before city chart. Now, save the Razor component. Control S. Great. While we are at it, let's add the city list component, which you saw in the intro or demo episode. If you recall, the city list component is used as the parent component that will in turn load the city chart component. To add the component, right-click the Pages folder. Choose Add. Razor component. Name the component city_list. Click Add. Perfect. Now let's define the URL to load the city list component. We'll add a page route so the user can navigate directly to this component. To assign the route or URL, we need to add a page directive. We'll add the page directive on the first line of the page. Type @page quotes /cities. Nice. Razor components can display as a component within a page or component, or as their own page in a Blazor application. Now let's add the city chart HTML component reference. Place the cursor below the H3 city list tag. Now add the city chart HTML element. Great. Now save the city list Razor component. Control S. Okay, we have two new components. Let's add a link to the menu to easily navigate to the city list component. Within the shared folder, open the nav menu Razor component. Let's check out the nav menu Razor component, which is automatically created in a Blazor template. The menu is fully integrated with Bootstrap class references out of the box. At the time of this video, Bootstrap is considered the most popular front-end CSS and JavaScript framework for creating mobile-friendly responsive websites. Our Bootstrap CSS reference is located in the _host.cshtml Razor page. Within the Pages folder, open _host.cshtml. Note the CSS style sheet reference. This style sheet reference points to the Bootstrap minimized CSS file located under www.root/css/bootstrap. Since our Razor components are loaded using the _host Razor page, we have access to all Bootstrap styles and Bootstrap JavaScript components. If you would like to learn more about Bootstrap, feel free to visit their website. I've left the link in the description. Now, let's get back to the nav menu Razor component and create a city population link. Copy the list element with the fetch data nav link component. Control C. Paste the new list element below the home list item. Change the link text from fetch data to city population. To change the icon to a map marker next to the link, change the Bootstrap class to OI-map-marker. Now update the href for the navlink component to cities. Finally, in case we have to refer back to them, let's comment out the li counter and li fetch data navlinks. Excellent. Now save the nav menu component. Control S. Now, let's run the app and make sure the city list URL works and loads the city chart component. Okay, the BlazorChartJS app's homepage loads successfully. Now, click the city's menu link to navigate to the city's URL. Great. Our city chart component loads and displays the custom H1 Hello World from City Chart. We can also see that the city chart component loads within the city list component. Note the city list H3 tag. Now that we have the city list component loading the city chart component, it's time to add our grid to the city chart component to list the cities from the database. Now, let's close the Blazor application. Click the City Chart Component tab. This is where we'll add the HTML table that will be the base for our grid. To speed things up, prior to recording this video, I prepared an HTML file with a table with column headings that match the city's database table. Under the templates folder within the www root folder, open the file named gridtable_getData_start.html. Nice. Note the standard HTML web page layout with a doc type, HTML element, head element, and body element. Inside the body tag, we have a div with Bootstrap classes wrapping an HTML table. This is the foundation for our city's grid layout. Note two sample rows that are added to represent placeholders for our cities. Here's a City 1 placeholder, and here's a City 2 placeholder. The City 1 placeholder has a teal for the hex color and a teal for the RGBA color with the corresponding transparency. We also have a delete button and an edit hyperlink. There's also a City 2 placeholder with a purple hex color with a 0.7 transparency for RGBA. Note the delete button as well as the edit hyperlink. Just like the delete button and edit hyperlink we saw inside the City 1 placeholder. Now, let's view this page to see what it looks like before using the HTML. Right-click gridtable_getData_start.html. Choose View in Browser. Great. The web page loads successfully. Note each column heading which matches the city's table in our database. City ID, the city for city name, population, hex colors, RGBA colors. And notice the delete button as well as the edit hyperlink for each row. Okay, let's close the web page and copy the HTML into the city chart component. Collapse the div with the underlying table. Select the node to highlight the div. Copy the div. Control-C. Navigate back to the city chart component. In the area below the H1 tag, paste the div from the HTML template. Control-V. Okay, notice the @onClick Razor event handlers have a red squiggly line under them. Let's change both of these to JavaScript onClick event handlers for the time being to get rid of the squiggly lines. Okay, nice. Now, in due time, we'll change them back to Razor onClick event handlers instead of JavaScript onClick event handlers. Now, let's look at some Bootstrap classes we can apply to our table. Before we add the Bootstrap table classes to our table, let's look at these Bootstrap classes that have already been applied to this div. There's a column of 12, which means that's 100%. Then there's border, which means the div will actually have a border, padding of 3, and a margin top of 3. Now, let's go ahead and add our table Bootstrap class. Table-striped, border, and table-responsive-small. These Bootstrap classes allow our table to be responsive. Therefore, it can be displayed on a large screen all the way down to a small mobile device without an impaired view. Our grid would be able to expand and contract to fit the view of the device viewing the content. Here is a list of all the Bootstrap classes and corresponding screen widths of when our table will get a horizontal scroll bar. The sizes include small for 576, medium for 768, large for 992, extra large for 1200 pixels. Now let's update the header class to give the row a darker background. Table-secondary. Let's also update the div elements in the hex color and RGBA color columns with more Bootstrap classes. We'll add alert, margin bottom 0, and the text color will be white. And we'll add a background color to match the teal hex color. Now we need to do a similar thing for the RGBA color. Alert MB-0, text-white, and our background color style will be the same as our RGBA printed text. Copy, paste. That takes care of the two color columns. Now we need to update the classes for the delete button and the edit hyperlink. We'll add a button class to both elements. Button, button-danger. The button-danger class will create a red background for our button. Button-small and margin bottom -1. Finally, let's add the Bootstrap classes to our edit hyperlink. Button, button-success, button-small, margin bottom -1. Now, to speed things up, prior to recording this video, I prepared a text file with the second row for our table. City2 has purple divs and the same button styles. Under the templates folder, let's open the city2_sample_row.txt file. Press Ctrl A to select all. Press Ctrl C to copy. Let's navigate back to the city chart component. Below the City1 row, paste the HTML that you just copied. Be sure to highlight both the beginning table row element as well as the ending table row element before you paste. Ctrl V to paste. Okay, just like we did before, let's get rid of the @ sign in front of the onClick event handling. So our City2 row is identical to our City1 row as far as the layout, with different colors for the hex color and RGBA. Our hex color and RGBA for City2 will be purple instead of teal. Okay, it's time for the moment of truth. Let's run the app to see what our city chart component looks like with the new table and Bootstrap classes. Great! The BlazorChartJS app's homepage loads successfully. Okay, now click City Population to navigate to the city's URL. Nice! The Bootstrap styles have taken effect. Check out the striped table with alternating backgrounds. The div alert styles now have the expected teal and purple backgrounds. Notice the solid hex colors and the RGBA colors with their transparencies. Also notice the red delete button with its Bootstrap button danger class and the edit hyperlink with its Bootstrap button success class that displays a green background for the hyperlink. Also notice all the text in each element is white due to the text-white Bootstrap class. Finally, let's check out the grid's responsive design as a result of the Bootstrap table class. If we start from the largest view, we can decrease the view down until we get the horizontal scroll bar. And if you recall, our horizontal scroll bar takes effect at 576 pixels or less due to the table-responsive-small Bootstrap class that we applied. Also, check out the nav menu component and its responsive abilities. Also, notice the map marker icon that appears next to the city population link that we added as a part of our Bootstrap classes. That's all of it. If you have any questions on creating the city list and city chart Razor components and creating our custom grid using C#, Razor, HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap, leave a comment below and I'll do my best on getting back to you. In the next video, we will continue working on our custom grid in the city chart component. We need to handle the R or read from our CRUD operations. We will use the data service to retrieve the cities from the chart stats database and display them within our grid. In the meanwhile, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Click the notification button. Give us a thumbs up with a like and share this video. Comments with or without a question are great too. Again, this is Travis L. Holt. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this training video from himpact.com.